each of these 10 camps had anywhere from 17,000 to maybe 20-something thousand in their population. One of the first camps after Gila River, where I was born, that I visited was Minidoka. Someone in the JACL drove like 2 or 3 hours from I don't know where to meet me and near the Minidoka camp, and we drove to the camp, and we found this root cellar, and if I were by myself, wouldn't have gone in because the doors were closed and he pretty much forced it open. These were desert areas, and once the Japanese Americans brought in irrigation and farming and flowers and plants and to these desolate areas, they needed a place to store their produce. And not far from that, in another state, Wyoming, near Cody, Wyoming, is Heart Mountain Relocation Camp, where I found these structures that look like little huts or houses, but they're really the outside of a root cellar. These were air vents, and there needs to be air circulating in the root cellar for the produce to last as long as they do. Heart Mountain is an interesting camp, though, beyond the root cellar. Heart Mountain is known for the draft resistors effort that happened in the camps. There were a number of Japanese Americans who felt that they should not be drafted, and at that point in time that the government was trying to get a number of the internees to be drafted, and this is where the major protest happened at Heart Mountain. They're very articulate, intelligent, activist people. Every time I go to one of these camps, I have to just open myself up to whatever's going to happen. And in Topaz, when I got there, the sandstorm was going 30 miles an hour, and I thought, oh, I better wait until it's over to photograph. And then I realized, no, this is what these internees experienced. I don't know if I've captured it, but it did destroy all my equipment. This is the Manzanar Relocation Camp Monument that is probably the most well-known image of all the relocation camps, probably the most photographed image of all the relocation camps. A lot of the reunions happened here, and more people have visited this site because it is also along Highway 5 if you're going from LA to San Francisco. Some people notice the guard gates and come in and then see the rest of the Manzanar remnants. This particular camp has been made into a national park. In Arkansas, there are 2 camps, Roar and Jerome, and people who talked about Jerome, who lived in Jerome, always said, well, they really didn't even need the guards and the fences because there were more than 10 kinds of poisonous snakes just around the area, so nobody wandered off too far. Yeah, it was pretty remote, and each area had its challenge. I think this work becomes even more relevant, though, in this age after 9/11. People respond differently. I've had a few shows since 9/11, and the response is very timely now. It's because history repeats itself. It's because we see the same situation starting to happen or happening to another group of people. So that's scary.